All right, hello everyone. Peace of Christ to all. Uh, I wanted today to share with you some important things we need to learn about Islam. And the topic today is when Muslims they say that Allah is a one God, and they refuse the Christians' belief of the Trinity. Then we see the Christians in response they try to refute the Muslim claim, like they don't accept. For sure, as a Christians, we don't accept the Muslims' rejection. However, uh, many people they are really, you know, when they reject something, they do not go deep in it. They just reject it. This is the same for the Christians or for the Muslims. Like the Muslim, they reject Christianity because they've been taught that Christianity is false, but not because really they know much about Christianity. In other words, Muslims are the last one to know what Christianity is about, and we can prove that easy. But today I'm going to concentrate in one thing, which is who is Allah. You see, the Muslim, he wanted to believe in his God, and he insists that his God is the best God, which is funny because there's only one God anyway. So you cannot say there's a best God and worst God. However, the Quran don't agree with us. The Quran as a book don't agree with us, because Allah, he stated clearly in the Quran that he is the best of the creators. So we will go slowly, step by step, together to understand who is Allah. And I have many surprises for many, like many proofs from the Islamic reference as usual, which is going really to destroy the thought of Muslims about their God, because obviously Muslims do not know who is their God. When a Muslim he speak to us about his God, and he tried to present to us that his God is the best and his God is the only true God and he is one God, etc., then we need to ask ourselves certain questions, starting from the first verse Muhammad he received, which is chapter supposedly chapter number 96, which the Muslims changed the location of the verse or the chapter and they put it at the end of the Quran. In this chapter, this is the first time Muhammad he received Quran from his God. So if we go to any interpretation of the Quran, you will see something very stupid and something very naive is written there, right in the front. Remember that the one who is speaking here supposedly is the angel of Allah, but still he is just reciting, or let us say he is repeating what Allah said, which means it's not really the angel saying that, he is just delivering the message. When the angel came to Muhammad supposedly in an image of a man, by the way, he never said I'm an angel, which is very weird. He never even said Assalamu alaikum, which is very weird, because remember, even in the Bible, when the angel which Muhammad claimed that he is the same angel came to him, which is Gabriel, but Muhammad called him Jibril, he said to Mary, Shalom to you, Mary. But when this angel came to Muhammad, looked like he is not coming with peace, looked like he is different angel. Look how, he forgot to mention the most important greeting of God. So he said, and as you see, I'm just reading to you what the translation and what the interpretation saying. Recite, bring recitation into existence, beginning with in the name of your Lord, who create all the creatures. Now this is the interpretation. All right. The word here, the Muslim they translate as recite. It's a big problem because in Arabic it says iqra, and iqra is not recite. Iqra means read. However, if we go and agree with Muslims about this to be recite, that will be another problem too, because when you say to someone recite, it means you are telling him to tell you what he have in his memory, what he memorize. But remember, this is the first word Muhammad he ever heard from the angel of Allah. So how he can recite something he never heard before? If this word mean read, I'm going to take the both options, because there's only two options for this word. Either going to take it as iqra, which as read, or we will go with this translation. It says recite. So recite doesn't make sense, because recite is meaning Muhammad he have to recite something he have in his memory. Recite is not the same as repeat, by the way. Iqra is not repeat. In Arabic, the word repeat is totally different, like raddid or qul, or say after me. You know, in English we say, right? So recite is totally different word from the word repeat. Recite is something you say from your memory. You can check the dictionary. So if this is true, it means Muhammad is a fabricator. He is fabricating Qur'an, and Allah never spoke to him, or the angel never spoke to him, because already he is reciting from his memory. But the stories say the opposite, that this is the first time Muhammad he received anything from his God. So the word recite here, it doesn't make sense. So we will go to the second option. Iqra as read. Now this is very stupid too, because how he said to him read, if you don't give him a book to read, or a paper to read, or something is written to read. So that will not make sense again. So what is the solution for this then? Simply, the only answer, Muhammad is copying what is written in a book, and all the story is a fabrication. Read in the name of your Lord. Same time, what Allah he want from Muhammad to read, Muhammad himself do not know. The angel squeeze him three times, still Muhammad have no idea. Muhammad go home, Muhammad is snore, Muhammad is sleeping like a camel, Muhammad is afraid, Muhammad is scared, and his wife, she take him to the cousin, and the cousin, he tell Muhammad that this is an angel. So then how we will know what this is all is about? How we can find out what is a problem, like how we can solve this problem? Why Allah say to Muhammad read, and yet Muhammad do not understand what his God want to say, which means obviously Muhammad is the last one to know. Muhammad himself could not give interpretation for the verse itself, because here we go, he go to his wife take him to the cousin, which is proof that the Quran is nothing but a book of fiction. Because if I am a prophet of God, how come I cannot understand what God is saying to me? Is God saying things to me I do not know what he mean, what he want? Is he playing games with me? Is he fooling me? Who is the stupid here? Same time, if the word Iqra here is an order, and Allah say to Muhammad read, shouldn't that be enough for Muhammad to able to understand, because he is getting an order from God, who is almighty, who can make you understand anything? But yet Muhammad cannot understand, and Muhammad cannot read. So obviously, if this is God, you know, if Jesus said to a donkey read, the donkey will be able to read. Allah he said to Muhammad read, still Muhammad cannot read. So here we are trying to understand who is this God who Muhammad is coming with, and how come Muhammad himself do not understand him, and then how Muhammad is asking the Muslim to follow him if Muhammad himself cannot understand what Allah he want. Like even this verse here, if we go and read it all, you know, there's no meaning for it. Like what the meaning of all of this? This is drama here. What is the meaning? Nothing. You know, there is no meaning whatsoever for all of this. Read in the name of your Lord, the one who created you, and you know, etc. And the one who taught you by the pen. What pen? According to Muslims, even Muhammad, he do not know how to write, how to read. According to Muslims, Muhammad, he died and still he do not know how to write, how to read. So how you say he taught you by the pen? What pen? Allah never deliver any verse to Muhammad is written. He delivered it from the mouth of Jibreel. He never even spoke to Muhammad. So in this time today, we are going to speak about who is Allah, the nature of Allah. Allah, is he a man? Is he smart? Do he have a physical body? Do he have a brain? Like, is he something spiritual or he is something physical? And for sure we will not use any reference which is not coming or accepted by Muslims. So in order to find out who is Allah, we need to go and see Allah in the terms and which Muslims they understand. You know, I'm not going to tell Muslims who is your God really. I'm going to read and study what Muslims, especially Muhammad, he is the best of the Muslims, right? He is the most one who should know his God. So we will see what Muhammad is claiming about his God. I mentioned this one before, this hadith here, and the reason I want to mention it again, but for sure there's a lot more surprises this time, because we will try to understand the nature of this God. Who is this Allah? How he look like? What do you know about him? Look what Muhammad he said about Allah. The Prophet said, I have told you so much. So Allah, Muhammad, he told his followers so much about the Dajjal. Who is the Dajjal? He is the Antichrist. This is a Muslim translation, not mine. That I'm afraid you may not understand. See, things is complicated. The Antichrist is short. Please take notes. The Antichrist is short, hinted, woolly hair, which means he's like he have a curly hair, one-eyed, and an eyesight, and his eyesight have a special way to look like. So if you are confused about him, know that your Lord is not one-eyed. Now, I'm not going to ask Muhammad where he got this from, because supposedly he is the prophet of Allah and he is the one who present Allah to us. We have only witness who did not even see Allah, but yet he witnessed for Allah, and not only he witnessed for him, he give us description. Even though Aisha, she said, if somebody says to you the prophet he saw his Lord, he is a liar. If somebody told you Muhammad he saw his Lord, he is a liar. However, we will see that later. A hadith contradict the story of Aisha. So what we learn here from Muhammad, from the mouth of Muhammad, about Allah. You see, I'm not really interested of the Antichrist, how he look like. Not really. What I am interested here is the compare between a man, because remember the Antichrist is a man anyway. He is coming to look like a man. His name is Al-Masih al-Dajjal, In Arabic, Masih al-Dajjal must mean the false Messiah. So we have the false Messiah, we have the Antichrist, which is the same person, and the Antichrist is a man. And Muhammad described him as a short man, he's kind of fat, he have curly hair, he have a problem in his eyes, especially his right eye, right eye, and he have a special look of his face. However, he look exactly as a man. And then Muhammad, he says, if you are confused about him, know that your Lord is not one eye. That's really a very big problem, because Muhammad is comparing between Allah and a fat man with curly hair, with one eye, and his eye is even like they are deep in his face. It's a description perfectly for a man. And he is comparing all of this to Allah, and he is claiming that Muslims, they might be confused about Allah and him. And he is giving this description so they will not be confused. But what is the difference between Allah and this? It is just one eye. That's it. The eye. Not only the two eyes are different, only one eye. From this all, I understand that Allah must be a man. Allah must be a man, because the Antichrist is a man. The Antichrist is someone who claimed to be the false Messiah. You see, the Muslims, for the Christians who are listening, you need to understand the Antichrist in Islam is a man who tried to claim that he is the true Messiah. So he will come in the look, in the shape of the Messiah. All right? Like, don't confuse between the Antichrist in Christianity and Antichrist in Islam. Even he don't have the name of Antichrist, he have the name of Al-Masih al-Dajjal, which means the false Messiah. Al-Masih al-Dajjal, the false Messiah. So the false Messiah is a man, according to Islam. He who will come at the end of the time, and he will claim to be the Messiah. So he is not coming to say, I am the false Messiah. No, he is coming and he is saying, I am the false Messiah. Sorry, he's saying I am the Messiah, but in fact he is the false Messiah. So you need to understand that the Antichrist in Islam have totally different image from Antichrist in Christianity. So don't be confused. You see, Muslims, they have sometimes used the same terms we use, like adultery in Islam is haram, but it's not adultery in Islam to rape a woman, she's not a Muslim. It's not adultery in Islam to sleep with your slave. It's not even adultery in Islam to touch, to kiss a woman, even to play with her private part. So yes, Muslims, they use the same word adultery and they say it's haram, but adultery for Muslims is not the same adultery for Christianity. Jesus said, if you look at a woman, she wish to have her, she is not yours, you committed adultery in your eyes, in your heart. Theft, killing, bloodshed, etc., all of those, they are exist in Islam, but they are different from Christianity. In Islam, it's a crime to kill an innocent man. But who is the innocent man in Islam? A Muslim. In Christianity, it's a crime to kill any man who is honest, and doesn't matter if he's a Christian or not. So Muslims, they use sometimes same words as you use. Like, you know, a Muslim, he might come to you and says, we believe in the Antichrist. So you put in your mind, oh, they believe in the Antichrist, must be the same as in the Bible. No. The Antichrist for Muslims have different aspect, different vision, different place, different person. And actually, when a Muslim he speak about the Antichrist, that alone convinced me that my Christ is the one to follow, because that Antichrist simply present the devil. So why the devil he want to be Antichrist but not anti-Muhammad? But yet the Muslim, they say that Muhammad is the best man. He is the highest prophet. He is the best of the best. But as you see, that the devil, he don't want to be the anti-Muhammad, he want to be antichrist. And that alone confirmed to me who is the Messiah and who is Muhammad. Obviously, here we have a problem. The problem is the devil, he want to be antichrist, not even anti-Allah. Like, should we ask ourselves, how come, why he want to be antichrist but not anti-Allah? Forget about Muhammad. What about Allah? No, he want to be antichrist. So it must be that the antichrist is something or someone, he is very extremely powerful person, and he wanted to challenge the highest one, and that is the Messiah, not Allah, not Muhammad. Same time here, you notice that when the Messiah is compared, you know, like this hadith here, this story here, it should compare between the Antichrist and the Messiah. Ad-Dajjal, which is supposedly the Antichrist, should be compared with the Messiah. So Muhammad, he should say, well, you know what? The Dajjal or the Antichrist, the Al-Masih al-Dajjal, which means the Messiah, the false or the liar, he is not like this, but the real Messiah is like that. Especially the Messiah will come back again. But Muhammad is not doing that. Muhammad is comparing between the false Messiah and describing him as a short man who don't look good, have hair, you know, curly hair, have a problem in the right eye, and between, and even his eye have a special look in the face, all right, and between Allah. Why Muhammad is not comparing between the false Messiah and the Messiah? Like, guys, if somebody want to say there is someone he will claim to be Christian Prince, and I want to teach you how to recognize who is a Christian Prince and who is not, should I compare between Christian Prince, the false, and Christian Prince, the real? That is the logic, right? But what we see here, Allah is comparing between the false Messiah, oh sorry, Muhammad comparing between the false Messiah and Allah, as if is the real Messiah is your Lord. Are you getting my point? Why Muhammad is comparing between the false Messiah and Allah? That doesn't make sense unless the false Messiah, by claiming to be the Messiah, he claimed to be God. This is the only reason. And Muhammad, he confirmed by this story that the Messiah is God, because what is the Messiah he do? The Messiah is the Antichrist, who is the false Messiah, and he is your Lord. So Muhammad compared between both, the real Messiah, the false Messiah, but instead of speaking about the real Messiah here, he is speaking about your Lord. That alone confirmed to me that the Messiah must be the true Lord, and he must be God. But here the question for me, the most important is, when Muhammad, he compared between his Lord, regardless if he is the Messiah or not, and he compare him to a man who is short, who have a curly hair, who have one eye in the right side, who have a special look in his face, but still he's a man after all, to Allah, and say the only difference between this fat man, short man, and Allah is just one eye. That's alone confirming the story that Muhammad is telling us, that the Messiah or the false Messiah, he is a man, and Allah, he is a man too, but the only difference between them is just die. Now we will go to different hadith. And we will read the following. This is about the false Messiah again. And this one is talking about what is written between the eyes of the false Messiah. And this story really getting very funny. And I will tell you why. Muhammad is saying the Ummah, the nation. Ummah, the word Ummah means nation. And when always the Muslim they say Ummah, they mean Muslims. All right? Of the one-eyed liar, and that is the false Messiah. Behold, he is one-eyed, and your Lord is not one-eyed again. In his forehead are the letters KFR, which mean kufr, which mean kafir. Now look how funny this is. In different story, Muhammad, he never mentioned this. If we have the word kufr written in the top of his forehead, so what the problem? Why even we need to know how his eye look like, how his face look like? The word there is enough. That is showing us that Muhammad is fabricating stories. Behold, he is the one-eyed, and your Lord is not one-eyed. When Muhammad he say your Lord is not one-eyed, that's mean Allah have two eyes. By the way, the false Messiah he have two eyes, but one of them is damaged, let us say. So both of them they have two eyes, and both of them they have forehead. The difference is that the false Messiah in his forehead the word kufr is written there. So again this hadith confirmed that Allah must be a man. Let us continue. Let us see this one here. This is a long hadith actually. But I will give you the numbers here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the volume number 4, book 12, hadith number 2557. All right. And as you see, the grade is sahih. So Muslims cannot say to us that it is weak. If you read this story here, the Muslims are asking Muhammad if they are going to see their God. Are we going to see our Lord? And the Muhammad he will answer, for sure you will see your Lord. But in here, in this hadith, you see in here, if you read with me, they are asking him about seeing Allah. We will remain here until we see our Lord. All right. So the Muslims and you will see him. What will happen? Muslims, they will see their Lord. You know, for a human being to see someone, you have to be an image. You have to be an image. So let us make it clear. We cannot see the invisible. I hope people understand me. In order to see anything, that thing have to have a shape and an image. If you are like air, if you are like gas, I will not be able to see you unless you have a color at least, and that will make you have a shape. So a human being, they see only shape. They don't see something invisible. So what we will see in this God, how we will see him, and you will see here Muhammad saying that he will make them recognize him. Not only they will see him, the Muslims will recognize Allah, but how they will recognize him? Allah, he will say to them, I am your Lord. After he make them recognize him, he will say, I am your Lord, follow me. So the Muslims will arise and they will follow their Lord. And here there is something really weird in this story. When people they attend to the hellfire, all right, there is something unique Allah will do supposedly. As you see here, you can read with me that Allah, he will start placing people in the hellfire like waves, and Allah will ask the fire, have you become full? So the fire will say, if there's more, enter when they are all included into it. Ar-Rahman, and here guys please focus with me here. Ar-Rahman, he will place, Ar-Rahman is Allah, don't be confused. Ar-Rahman is one of the names of Allah. Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, shall place his foot in it. Hold on. The hadith before, Allah have a face like a face of a man. Allah, he is fat like that man, because the only difference between Allah and the false Messiah, if you remember, it was the one eye. The false Messiah is a fat, short man, curly hair, etc., etc. His eyes is etc. And the only difference is the one eye. So Allah have a short, he's a short man. He have certain look like a man. He have a curly hair. And now we notice that this hadith confirmed that Allah, he have a physical foot. Because you know, when Muhammad he make a statement saying that Allah, he have a foot, that's mean Allah have a foot. And the funny, the Muslim, they say to you, well, Allah, yes, have a foot, but his foot is not like yours. Like, seriously, who care? What do you want to say to me? Allah foot have 5 fingers, 7 fingers, 10 fingers? Foot is a foot. Leg is a leg. The second you say a leg, it's mean it's a leg. And I am not the one who using the term foot. It is your prophet and even your God. He mentioned that Allah will uncover his shin. So Allah will put his physical foot in the fire. And that confirmed that Allah have a foot. So when the Muslims, they are talking about worshiping the one God and refusing the Messiah to be a man, to be God, but then we find that Allah is a short man. Allah is you know, have 2 eyes like everybody. Allah have a face like a man, have a foot like a man. Everything about him is like a man. Even he is short, he is a short man. And as you see, Allah have a foot. And the Muslim, they will see him. They will see him what? As what? As a beast? So if the Muslim, they will say to us, Allah have those things, yes, have hands, have 5 fingers. I can show you tons of hadith about Allah having fingers, Allah having hand, Allah having foot, Allah having like what? How big is the foot of Allah? I mean the hand of Allah. To understand the size of the foot of Allah, we can go or read different hadith about the hand of Allah, because it's going to be funny that Allah, his foot is so huge, but his hand is so small. There's a hadith mentioned by Muhammad that Allah placed his hand between his shoulders. Let me go to this one here. All right, this one. Muhammad here, he claimed that he saw his Lord. His Lord Allah, he came to him and he said to him, "Oh Muhammad," by the way, all the sources confirm that Muhammad never spoke to his God. However, Muhammad in here, he say it was a dream. However, the dream must be coming from a true prophet who tell true story. regardless if he really spoke to him or not. The dream is telling us something Muhammad he saw, and Muhammad he believed it truly that this is from his God. Look what Muhammad saying about this. His Lord came to him. He, the Most High, come to me in the best of appearance. What does that mean? When somebody sees, sees something in the best of appearance, that's mean you are talking about an appearance, and that means you are talking about an image of something physical. Because as we said, human beings are not capable of seeing things which is not, it's not visible. You cannot see it. So in order to see such a thing, I have to be seeing something physical, and that physical thing appear to me, and then I can recognize it in my own image, or on my eyes, because my eyes are not capable of seeing things which is not physical. It have to be physical. It have to have an image at least. Then I need to ask myself, what Muhammad he saw when he saw that physical thing, and how come Muhammad did not tell us really how does God look like, or what he said? He came in the best of appearance. Obviously Muhammad did not see something strange to talk about, because he just saw someone in the best of appearance, which means it must be a man. Like, he did not mention much about this, and we need to ask ourselves why. Like, imagine yourself seeing the first time you see God. Shouldn't you be amazed? Shouldn't be, be astonished about what you saw? Shouldn't be trying to say like, wow, look, let me tell you what I saw. But he's not even talking about it. As if he saw something normal. So what Muhammad really he saw, to the point, he just described it as a best appearance. Must be a man. And that man is not really too much interesting, except it's a best appearance. Very handsome man. To the point, Muhammad, he did not talk about it much. Then you will see the following. Allah, he said to Muhammad, "O Muhammad, do you know in what most exalted group busy themselves with?" He said, I said, no. You do not know, Muhammad, you do not know. Allah knows. He said, so he placed his hand between my shoulders. Hold on. Allah placed his hand between the shoulders of Muhammad. Now Muhammad, regardless how big, how small he is, however, Muslims they describe him as a middle man, middle size, maybe maximum 160 centimeter, or maybe 5'5" foot, and whatever his shoulders are is going to be. Allah, he placed his hands, or his hand, between the shoulders of Muhammad. It says between, as you see with me here, between, which means the hand of Allah was a lot smaller than the shoulders of Muhammad. In order to place my hand between your shoulders, my hand should be smaller than your shoulders. So what we learn from this hadith is that the hand of Allah is a small hand, and maybe even smaller than the hand of a normal man. He is placing his hand between the shoulder of Muhammad, The hadith before, we showed you that Allah, He have a foot. This hadith, Allah, He have a hand, and His hand is smaller than the shoulder of Muhammad. And then we can match the size of the hand with the size of the foot of Allah. Then we will notice that this is a normal size of a normal man. Because there is no way that the hand of Allah is so small to the point He can place it between the shoulders of Muhammad, but His foot is so big. That will not match, right? Because the shape of the body will look funny, will look stupid. The size of your hands match with the size of everything you have. Your body is one unit. Every part of it fit with the other part. So now we learn that Allah He's a man, if we go from here, and He is short. He have a curly hair, but the only difference between Him and the false Messiah, that He have the two eyes is correct, the two eyes is fine. The false Messiah, his eyes, one of them is damaged. Muhammad, he confirmed that yes, Allah, He have everything perfect, the same as the false Messiah, except the one eye in the top of it, and the top is of the forehead of the false Messiah. It's written the word kufr, and that's mean Allah have a forehead too, because on his forehead are the letter KFR, and the forehead of who? The forehead of the false Messiah. So in the forehead of the Allah, there is no those letters. So those letters exist only in the forehead of the false Messiah, which means at the end of the day, we have a face, we have hands, we have foot, and we showed you in this hadith here how Allah, He put His hands, sorry, His foot, He placed His foot in the fire, and the fire even make a noise. The fact in Arabic it says the fire will say qat qat, all right, and here they translate qat qat as enough enough. So when Allah, He put His foot in the fire, you see it says here Ar-Rahman, He placed His foot in the fire will say enough enough. Then how the Muslims, they say to us Allah is not a man? Why Muslim they keep repeating to us saying Allah is not a man? So Allah, if Allah is not a man, why He look like a man? Why He have a face like a man? Why He have two eyes like a man? Why He have two hands like a man? Why He have foot like a man? Why He have everything the man have? If you are saying Allah is not a man, then you have to accept that Allah must be a beast, because beast is anything, any creature who looks somehow strange, we call him a beast. Even a wolf outside, we call him a beast. So the Muslims, they have to tell us, who is their God Allah? Is He a man or He is a beast? Either way, they have to admit that Allah is a physical being. I have a debate before with the head of the Islamic Center of the city of Tennessee, Dr. Nabil Baikli, and the Imam of the Mosque of Tennessee, Imam Malik Sar, and both of them, they said to me, yes, Allah is a physical being, but His physique is not the same as yours. Yes, Allah have a foot, but His foot is not like yours. Yes, Allah have a face, but His face is not like yours. Who care? Allah is a physical being. So why you reject Jesus for being God on earth as a physical being? When your God Allah look exactly like a man. In this hadith, actually, which I believe it's a copy from the Old Testament, somehow, Muhammad, he said, Allah created Adam in His picture. Actually, the translation is not kind of correct. He should say, Allah created Adam in His image. The Muslim, they will say to you, you know what? No, no, no. This is not about Adam look like Allah look like Adam. It's about Allah. He created Adam in a same way we see him today. But then he says that he was 60 cubit. That doesn't make sense. When you say in his image, and then you say 60 cubit, that will not make Adam in the same image we know now. That will make Adam a lot more giant. So what he meant by saying in his image, in order to make it about Allah making a statement here, or Muhammad making a statement about Allah said that he created Adam, he should say Allah created Adam 60 cubit, and that's it as height. But when you say Allah created Adam in his image, you are saying, or you are making a statement that Adam and Allah, they have the same image. And this is why Muhammad, he forbid a man from beating anyone have the image of Adam in his face. It's forbidden. A Muslim man should not beat a man in his face, should beat him everywhere except his face. Why? Because Allah created him in his image. All right? I will see if I can get you the hadith about this. So we can see where Muhammad is saying you cannot. Here we go. When any one of you fight with his brother, he should avoid his face, for Allah created Adam in his own image. Which means if you are hitting someone in his face, you are hitting the face of Allah. Now the Muslim, they will say to you, oh no, 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 you are insulting Adam. So what? Who is Adam anyway? Read with me. Allah created Adam in his own image. Now for sure all of us, we are the son of Adams, but yet we don't have the same image of Adam, by the way, because Muhammad, he just said that he was 60 cubit tall, 60 arm tall. So everything about Adam will be different. So what is the connection between you fighting with his brother and you are beating his face, and you should avoid beating the face of a man, for Allah created Adam in his image, unless this is the image of Allah. This must be the image of Allah, which is an image of Adam. And I believe strongly Muhammad is copying from the book of Genesis, where it says that God created Adam in his image. As you see, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same, copy paste. Muhammad the thief, he is copying it from the Old Testament, making it a story in his book, and that exposes who is Allah. And you know the funny, the Muslim, they say to you, how come in the Old Testament there is no Trinity? And they quote for you from Genesis, where God, he says that God created Adam in his image. It says there. They reject, and they say the Christians are the one who came with God come as a man, when in the Old Testament it says clearly that God created Adam in his image. And here we go, Muhammad, he admitted that his God Allah have the image of a man, his God Allah have a hand, his God Allah have a foot, his God Allah have eyes, he have a forehead, he's short. Allah even short, because remember here in this hadith here, the one we quoted before, Muhammad comparing between the false Messiah and Allah. Remember that. The false Messiah and Allah. He did not say that the false Messiah, because he is short, he is etc., he is etc., he don't look like your God. No. He said the false Messiah is short, have a curly hair, have one eye, like you have a one functioning eye, and the right eye is damaged, and he have certain way of the look of his eyes. And your God is not one-eyed. He did not say your God is not short. He did not say your God is not hinted. He did not say your God is not hurly cared. He did not say anything except your God is not one-eyed. Which means all those things together, they match exactly with the look of Allah. But all of those, by the way, in here the translation is wrong. You see the translation here is wrong. Let me show you why. In Arabic, and that's why I say don't ever trust an Islamic translation. In Arabic, the translation says, the Arabic word says that in al-Masih ad-Dajjal rajulun qasir. The word rajul, you see the rajul? This word mean a man. Rajulun qasir. In here, the word man disappear. Let me see if I can find different hadith. Then you will see how the translation change. The same hadith. Okay, this is the same one. This is the same one with more description. The Prophet mentioned Masih ad-Dajjal in the front of people, saying Allah is not one-eyed. You see who is Muhammad comparing to who? He is comparing Allah to the false Messiah. While the Messiah ad-Dajjal, which means the false Messiah, the Antichrist, is blind in the right eye, and his eye looked like a black and gray. While sleeping near the Kaaba last night, I saw in my dream a man of a brown color. He's what? He's a man. You see, in that hadith, the word man disappear. The best one can see amongst brown color, and his hair was long. Now let's see who is that one. That it fell between his shoulders. His hair was lank, and water was dripping from his head. And he was placing his hands on the shoulder of two men while going around the Kaaba. I asked, who is this? They replied, this is Jesus, the son of Mary. Behind him I saw a man, look with me here, who had a curly hair and blind in the right eye. So this is confirmed to us that Messiah is a man and the false Messiah is a man, and the only difference between them is the right eye. But yet Muhammad, he compared between the false Messiah and Allah. Obviously, this is a clear proof that Allah is a physical being. Allah is a man. And actually there's a video I would like to share with you. Here we go. This is a Muslim scholar in the Islamic TV. He says clearly, you know what? Yes, we believe in Allah, that he have fingers, he have hands, he have etc. Now the video is in Arabic, so I'm going to translate for you what this man he say.
فرأيته وضع كفه بين كتفي ووجدت ضرب أنامله بين ثديي فتجلى لي كل شيء وعرفت كل شيء. نؤمن أن الله تبارك وتعالى له سمع وله بصر وله يدين وله أصابع وله قدم وله ساق سبحانه وتعالى.
He said, we believe that Allah, he have eyes, he have hearing, he have fingers, he have hands, he have foot, he have, you know, he have everything. He's saying that right on TV. But you will never see this. You will never hear anyone speaking English saying that on TV. Like, did you ask yourself why? Why Muslims do not say that? Why Muslims they try to put a makeup over their God when they speak in English? Why they try to cover him by a veil? Why in Arabic they speak about him in different way from the way they speak about him in English? When Allah have a fingers, Allah have a hands, Allah have a foot, Allah have shoulders, Allah have eyes, Allah have forehead, Allah have back, Allah have a front, then who's Allah?
بصر وله يدين وله أصابع وله قدم وله ساق سبحانه وتعالى لكن لا تشبه مخلوقاته.
He said, yes, he have hearing, he have eyes, he have foot, he have shin, he have a leg, he have everything, and he have fingers, but they don't look like the same as a man. But this is really don't agree what Muhammad said, because Allah compared to the false Messiah who looked like a man.
لا تشبه مخلوقاته قال سبحانه ليس نؤمن أن الله تبارك وتعالى له سمع وله بصر وله يدين وله أصابع وله قدم وله ساق سبحانه وتعالى لكن لا تشبه مخلوقاته.
He repeat again, that's Allah have hands, have a foot, have fingers. He keep repeating it. You know. Now my question to the Muslims: how Muhammad he got all this information about his God? Where he got it from? How come he knows that his God have hand, have fingers, have foot, he have etc., he have eyes, he have hearing, he have, you know, and then he cannot acknowledge how his God look like exactly. Same time when we say that Allah have a hearing, and we are talking about hearing now, we're talking about ears. We are not talking about that God he can hear without ears. When we say that Allah have hands, we are talking about someone he can grab you by his hands, because that's what hands for. You see, a donkey, we say to him, we say he have 4 legs. We don't say he have 2 hands and 2 legs. Why? Because none of those, the front legs, he cannot grab with them anything. Legs is what we walk in, hands is what we grab with. So when a Muslim he says to us, Allah have 2 foot, Allah have 2 legs, Allah have 2 hands, Allah have 2 eyes, simply he is just the same as any creation. They refuse our God to appear in an image of a man, to come to us in the person of a man, but they accept their God not to appear as a man, but he is a man. And there's a huge difference. You see, our God is not a man. Our God, he came to us as a man. Their God is a beast. This is how he is. Because if they refuse to be a man, he must be a beast. So what we learn from this, and this is why today actually I wanted to share this with you, that Allah is not a spiritual being. You see, the Bible speaks about Jesus, that he is the visible image of the visible God, of the invisible God, the visible image of the invisible God. The Muslims believe Allah is a visible being and he have a physical being, and this is how he is. This is the true nature of Allah. He is a physical being. I hope you guys are getting my point. So when a Muslim he speak about his God proudly, and then he get confused about who is his God, and he start telling us how God can be a man, and how this man he come to this earth, and etc., etc., when the fact everything about his God is confusing. His God is a physical being. His God uh, 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 is a normal creature. His God is nothing really unique. Many people, they think that the Muslims, when they speak about their God, they have a unique God. Like uh, when you hear a Muslim making fun of Christians for worshiping what they call a man, like how you worship a man, they don't ask themselves the same question: how you worship a physical being who have the look of a man. Obviously, he have feet, he have hands, he have. Let us say he's not a man. So what? He's what? Gorilla? He is what? He's a gorilla? What he is? So this God who have a physical being, who is a physical being, who is a creature like all of us, and this is his original shape, this is his original way of a being. Like he is not a spiritual God who came to Muhammad, appeared to him in a physical way. No, this is how this God is. So when a Muslim speak to you and speak about you worshiping a man, tell him, well, you not to worship who? You worship a beast who have a foot, who have a hand, who have fingers, who have eyes, and this is how he is. This is the original look of Allah. And that will make him limited. Like you see, the Muslims, they say to us, when Jesus is, when God is Jesus, when God is a man as Jesus, he became limited inside the limited physical being because he have a size, because he is inside the physical body. So God became limited. This is their logic. Well, how come you don't go with your logic to your God? Here we go. Your God have a physical being. Your God have a body. He have fingers. He have foot. He have a leg. He have face. He have eyes. And he is a physical being. How come my God became limited when he is coming in a person of a man, but your God will not face a problem when he is in a physical of a being, whatever it is that is? So Muslims, they have no logic. Their logic only work in you. If you try to work their logic on them, they refuse their logic because they are not honest people. Honesty is not part of Islam. Always we need to ask questions. The same questions Muslims ask you, throw it back at them, and you will see how much in trouble they are. Like when the Muslim, they say to you, the Bible is corrupt. Say to them, the Bible of Allah is corrupt. You will see how his face will turn red, blue, yellow, because he's not expecting you to say that. He's expecting you to defend the Bible, not to say to him, oh, the Bible of Allah is corrupt, because he forgot that when he say that the Bible is corrupt, he's talking about the Bible of his God. And by the way, I can show you tons and tons of hadith. Like there's one of the stories mentioned by Ibn Taymiyyah, that Allah, if he sit in a fly, the fly can carry him because Allah is merciful. You know, a mosquito, actually, not a fly, sorry, a mosquito. There's a hadith about Allah sitting in the top of a rooster. Even the Quran confirmed that Allah, he sit in the top of 8 angels. 8 angels will carry him. And in the interpretation it says that if not the help of Allah, they will not be able to carry him. Allah is so fat, is so heavy, but yet he have a size of a man. And the hadith confirmed that Allah is a fat man. So what we learn in this time today, we share together many proofs, many reference that Allah is just a man. He can be an ugly man, he can be a good-looking man, I don't care. Allah have hands, Allah have foot, Allah have a face, And Muhammad himself, he compare Allah to the false Messiah, which means the false Messiah, which he looks supposedly someone who tried to look like the Messiah. And the Messiah is a man, as we know. This is my advice to the Muslims. When you speak about your God, trying to attack my God, try first to recognize who is your God before you talk to me about your God. Because we can show you tons of stories about your God. Funny one. Like, you know, in here when Muhammad is saying Allah, he placed his foot in the fire. What the purpose of this? Isn't it really funny and stupid? Allah, he keep asking the fire, are you full? Are you full? And Allah, he don't believe the fire, so he placed his foot in the fire to see if there is more space or not. Is that the Almighty God? The Almighty God of Islam, he need to place his foot, his physical foot, because he's a physical being, in the fire to see if it is full or not yet. As you see here, he keep putting people in the fire and he keep asking fire, have you become full? The fire say, there is more. And then Allah, he ask again, have you become full? And the fire say, is there more? Until when they are all included in it, Allah, which is supposed to be Ar-Rahman, he placed his foot in the fire. That is an act of a man. That is not an act of God. And obviously your God is a physical being, and you are telling me a story of a physical man, and he is a beast or is a gorilla, he's a chimpanzee, I don't care. However, how you claim about worshiping a God who is better God, who you claim that he is the only God, and by the way, we have only one God anyway. Like the competition of the Tawheed and Trinity is very funny. You know, the Muslim, they say to you, by the way, that can you find me the word Trinity in the Bible? You cannot find it. Well, you know, I can ask the same question. This is why I always say to you, ask the Muslim the same question. Can you find me the word Tawheed in the Quran? They will say no, the understanding of Tawheed is in the Quran, but not the word. Well, it's the same. Trinity as a word, we do not need it to be existed, but in the Bible we saw that God, he came as a spirit. God came to Abraham as a man, and God in heaven, we call him our Father, and God the man who came to us as Jesus, we call him the Son. And actually, if you think about it, if we ask Muslim the same question, when you say to me that your God Allah is a physical being, because as you see here, we confirm that Allah have a face, have a hands, have fingers. Do he have a spirit? Do Allah have a spirit? Like the one who have this foot, the one who have fingers, the one who have a forehead, the one who have a face, the one who have a bum, he sit in the chair, he sit in the throne, 8 angels carry him. The one has a shin, the one has 2 hands. Do this person have a spirit, or he is without spirit? If Allah has no spirit, that's mean this is a dead body. If Allah is a physical being, and this physical being is without spirit, it's mean he is a dead body. You are worshiping a dead physical being. Is this foot alive? When we say Allah, he put his foot in the fire, does that mean that this is a living foot or dead foot? Or maybe this is why he put his foot in the fire, but the fire did not burn him, because he's dead. So if the Muslim, they will refuse to accept that Allah is a physical being with the spirit, they accept him only to be a physical being, that will be a big problem. If they accept that he is a physical being, he have a spirit. Well, now he have a physical being and we have a spirit. We don't have a Trinity yet. We have a physical being and we have a spirit. One more, we have a Trinity. So now we have two Allah. Allah the spirit and Allah the physical being. There is a hadith where Allah he come every night in the third part of the night. Let me see if I can find it. I don't have Arabic font in my keyboard stickers, so I'm guessing the letters. In this hadith, it says that Allah, he come in the third part of the night, every night. And he, you know, he asks people, anyone praying for me? Anyone is invoking me? It might be that, because here the hadith in English, they change the numbers, so I cannot really find them by the numbers, because in Arabic they are different. Anyway, so what the hadith says, that Allah come down every night in the third part of the night. In the third part of the night. And he will ask the Muslims, anyone there is invoking me? And he go down to the lowest heaven. He go where? To the lowest heaven. Now here we need to ask ourselves a very simple question. When Allah he ask, or he come down to the lowest heaven, we are talking about obviously a physical being who come down from point A to point B. Point A to point B. If Allah is the Almighty, and he is a person who he is like above all your imagination, then how we can say that Allah come down from the point A to point B? Let me search for different oops. See, my keyboard sometimes switch to Arabic, switch to English. Okay. All right. Let us see here. The problem with this website, you know, it show you anything close to the sentence you are looking for. Not exactly. And by the way, if you see how many hadith is speaking about Jesus will descend down, you see it? Jesus will descend down, and God will descend down. Like, isn't it really weird that Jesus is just a prophet, but he descend down from heaven, and that is about Judgment Day? You know, they say to you that the Messiah is just a man, but still he is the one who descend from heaven when all the prophets of God are dead. Look like this will be hard to find. Yeah. Anyway, I hope later I can find it for you. I can make a different video about it. But Allah will descend from heaven, and he descend to the lowest heaven. Why he descend to the lowest heaven? The purpose is to try, or to hear the believers when they invoke him, and he say, anyone is invoking me, anyone is praying for me, ask yourself, if Allah is the Almighty, and we heard or we saw the scholar in the TV saying in that video that Allah have a hand, Allah have fingers, Allah have a foot, Allah have a face, Allah is a physical being. And then you see that he is coming from point A to point B, which is the upper heaven to the lowest heaven. In order to do that, Allah is moving between those heavens. He is inside the heaven, he is inside his creation. Here we go. We found it finally. Sometimes it's hard to find those hadith because they change their numbers. The one who's talking there, remember, is Muhammad. It's not me. I'm not the one who's quoting the story here. I'm not the one who is making the translation. When the exalted, which means Allah, descends to the lowest heaven and says, is there any bigger so that he be given? If there is any supplicator that he would be answer, If you look at this story here, or this statement made by Muhammad, Allah is descending to the lowest heaven. What is the purpose? So he can hear who is praying for me. Anyone is begging me for something, so I can give him. Anyone is praying, so I can answer his prayer. If there's any beggar for forgiveness, so I can forgive. And Allah continue doing this till it is daybreak. Hold on. That's really a problem. Because this is mean Allah, he worked by the time of our earth. Allah receive a prayer only between the third part of the night, all right, as you see here, and the daybreak, which means when the sun start coming out. The second the sun is coming out, Allah, he stop, he leave. So every day Allah come down to the lowest heaven, as we see here, and he received the prayer of the Muslims. So this is mean, actually this hadith here have many problems, expose Islam to be a false religion. Why? Because Muslims, they pray 5 times a day, when Allah will receive only the prayer of the early morning. So the prayer of the Muslims, when they do it afternoon, noon, etc., this is all is garbage. It's going to go to the trash can. It's going to go to the junk. For Allah will not come down unless it is the third part of the night. Or the 2/3 of it over, which means after the 2/3 of the night is over, which means the last third of it. So this is what will be what, like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So obviously Allah collect the prayer not from his place, his throne. He cannot. His antenna doesn't work, so he had to come down. Maybe he is using AT&T or Apple, I don't know, the bad phone, all right? So Allah, he had to come down to the lowest heaven so he can have a better reception, and then he received the prayer of Muslims, which only can be received in certain time. That's mean Allah have a limited ability of reception, limited ability of receiving prayer unless he change his location, limited ability of timing too, because the Muslim they pray five times a day, but yet Allah can hear only the morning prayer. Then how we can say this God is almighty? So obviously for Allah to move from point A, which is the highest heaven, remember Muslim they believe there's 7 heavens, they are divided to 100 floor at least. So Allah is moving, let us say this is here we have here we have the highest heaven. Here, and we have second heaven, third, fourth, 5, 6, and 7. So Allah, he have to move from here to here in order to receive the prayer. So Allah is sitting now, supposedly, in the 7th heaven, here, in the blue sky. And then Allah, in order to receive your prayer, he have to move from his bedroom and come from point A, and this is point A. Let us change the color. This is point A to point B. Allah cannot receive the prayer from point A. Allah had to come down to point B in order to hear your prayer. And Allah cannot stop longer in point B. As you see here with me, Allah have to leave by the daybreak. And as long the hadith says that Allah descend every night. You see it? That's mean Allah he have to go back again. When the sun rays, Allah go back. When the third part of the night, Allah go back here. And that is creating many problems. Let me make it more simple for you. Just to show you how stupid this story Muhammad is saying to us. This is mean that Muhammad and his God, they believe that the earth is flat. Because how Allah will come from point A and point B, between point A and point B, every night in the third part of the night. Do you know how many third part of the night we have a day? This is mean that Muhammad he assumed and his God that there's only 1/3 part of the night around the earth. Why? Because how he would descend down to the lowest heaven in the third part of the night, if the third part of the night is going to happen almost every 2 hours. Like what is the third part of the night in Nigeria when it is the third part, and when is going to be the third part of the night in England, and when is going to be the third part of the night in Australia? Same in Canada or America or Brazil, or you know. In order to do that, Allah have to be, he cannot come always, he cannot move from point A and point B. He had to be always down, because there's always third part of the night somewhere every 2 hours. By the time he finished listening to the Muslims prayer, is going to be the third part of the night of the different country. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So Allah is coming every day from point A to point B in the third part of the night. That's a very foolish God. He think that heaven and earth, they have only one time. There's only one time between them. We have 1 o'clock. And Allah will leave in the daybreak. So Allah is working under the physics of timing, which is in the earth. You see, the 24 hours exist only in the earth. In the space, the time is different. The time is different. Even you age differently. Like when many years go in the earth is going to be maybe 1 year in a different planet, or maybe 1 hour in a different planet. So time and the time of Allah and the time of the earth is the same. For Allah, the physical being, he function in the same way. Allah, the physical being, he come every night from the third part of the night to the lowest heaven. And then when it is daybreak time, he have to leave. It's like Cinderella. You know Cinderella? 12 o'clock, I have to go. I'm not sure if Allah will leave his shoes behind. And then the prince will try to find Allah. And later they get married. This is story actually proving to us that Allah is not almighty, because the God Almighty, he do not need to come down to the lowest heaven so he can hear your prayer. This is a very naive, stupid story made by a naive prophet, exposing his God to us, who is a physical being, as we showed you in many references before, who he have a hand, he have a foot, he have a fingers, he have a face, he have eyes, he have hearing, he have a shin. He is a physical being, whatever the word means. And in the top of that, this physical God, physical being God, he have to come every day from point A to point B. And he cannot hear your prayer unless he himself move down. And this is a proof to us again that Islam or Allah assume that the earth has one time zone and there's only one o'clock for all the earth. And that for sure exposing the ignorance of the God of Muhammad and the God of Islam and the false prophet Muhammad. There is tons of stories, by the way. They are showing us that Muhammad is a false prophet. Like, you know, Muhammad once he asked one of his followers, he said to him, do you know where the sun goes? Let's see if we can find it this way. Now, for sure, you will hear many stories about Muhammad speaking about where the sun comes from. You know, Muhammad, he forbid the Muslims from praying when the sun rays, because the sun rays from between the two horns of the sun. All right, and that for sure have to do with the old legends, and I will speak about that in my coming book. Where the sun goes, where the sun goes. Do you know where the sun goes? All right, like, do you know? Muhammad, he answered where the sun goes. But let me show you the hadith. You see it? I was sitting behind the messenger of Allah, who was riding a donkey while the sun was setting. He asked, do you know where the sun set? I replied, Allah and his messengers knows best. He said, it's set in a spring of warm water. And that confirmed what the Qur'an is saying, right? You remember? The Quran confirmed that Allah, you know, if you go to the chapter 18 and the chapter of a cave, when Alexander the Great, he went all the way and he found the sun sitting in the murky water. So the sun set in the murky water. So obviously, when Muslims, they speak about their God and they speak about the science of their God and they speak about everything that the Muslim they have, it's nothing but deception, and they try to use your ignorance, and if you do not know, they can fool you. Here the sun set under the throne of Allah. Now, where is the throne of Allah? The throne of Allah is above the water, above the murky water. All right. If you remember that that the throne of Allah is located in the top of a water, like in the beginning, Allah, before Allah, He created the universe, there was nothing but His throne above the water. All right. In this hadith here, actually, you will see that Allah, the physical being, have a size, and that size is really big, but however, He is smaller than the earth. How we can prove that? The throne, let me see here. Allah is sitting in His throne between the heaven and the earth. Does it say here between? You see the word between with me? In order to be between, I have to be in. And in order to be in, that means I have to be inside the creation. Because between the heaven and the earth, it means Allah is between them. As simple as that. He is not above. He belongs, He's inside. The Muslim, they refuse that Allah, He is inside His creation. But yet now we found out that Allah is a physical being, have hands, have foot, and not only this, He is inside His creation. Isn't it that the heaven and the earth is His creation? Isn't it? The heaven and the earth is the creation of Allah, but yet He is between them. And that explains Allah moving between point A to point B, as we showed you before. There's tons of proofs we can show you, a reference, endless, about Allah, the physical being. How Allah He said, how Allah He will be carried. Actually, there's a hadith about a guy, a friend of Muhammad. When he died, the throne of Allah was shaking. Let me show you. I hope the Muslims they will have the hadith there. Here we go. I heard the Prophet saying that the throne of Allah shook at the death of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. What is that? Why the throne of Allah will be shaking? The throne of Allah is shaking. How the throne of God will be shaking for a man? He is not even a prophet. Who is this guy anyway? Was the throne of Allah shaking for the death of Muhammad? This is why I'm saying that Islam have tons of fabricated stories, funny stories, stupid stories, endless. The more you read about it, the more you educate yourself, the more you see how stupid it is. So I think this is enough for today. I wanted to share this with you guys. I started very early in the morning today. I know there's not many people are listening right now because it's too late. I mean, too early. But I hope later people, they will share this video. And using Google live broadcast is better because I do not need to do rendering for a long video like this. If I do this video by software, it's going to take maybe 4 hours to render it, and then maybe 2 hours to load it in Google or in YouTube. So with this, I want to say thank you for being with us. I hope you guys, you did enjoy your time, and I hope we will continue maybe tonight to open our chat room. And for sure, if I open it, I will let you know in Facebook. Until we meet again, I say God bless. Thank you very much. Christ is Lord, and Allah is a beast, and we prove it. Thank you.